Well, welcome everyone to another edition of Taking Stock Live, where we do just that, what we've been doing in the retail industry for years, which is to take stock and really understand the latest trends, thoughts of what's out there and learn from each other. Today, I have an incredible privilege to welcome our Chief Commercial Officer and my boss's boss, so I better do a good job, Judson Althoff. Judson was critical to my joining Microsoft, my decision to really take this role and partner with all of you every single day. And we know as we sort of close the books on August and make our way into September, this is an incredibly important time for retailers. It's back to school, and I learned early in my retail career what happens in back to school in July generally can predict our holiday season. So now we're going to get to hear Judson's perspective on his role at Microsoft. So Judson, first off, just huge welcome and thank you. Thanks for being with us today.
Thanks so much for having me, Shelley. It's a great pleasure.
Well, it's really ours. So first off, many of those who are watching probably don't know what being Microsoft's Chief Commercial Officer really means. So can you tell us a little bit about that role?
Sure. So in short, I'm responsible for everything Microsoft sells, services, and supports to our large corporate enterprise customers, all the way down to small, medium business, as well as all of the public sector and government entities around the world. Microsoft goes to market in roughly 120 regional and national subsidiaries around the world. So we have 60,000 men and women that support our customers and partners, and it's a fantastic ecosystem to be responsible for. So great pleasure in the work that I do in serving our customers.
That's quite a book of business and a heavy weight on your shoulders. Tell us a little bit. I get to see it often. I know you've talked about this idea of servant leadership, talked about I hear you talk about, really leading from the front, but tell us about your leadership style and what it means to you.
Sure. Servant leadership for me is best described as me working for my people versus the other way around. I often say, look, I work for you, and my job is to make sure that you're empowered to be as successful as you possibly can be. And I feel like I'm a steward of the potential of really everybody that works for Microsoft, and to a certain extent, our partner ecosystem as well. So it's a job that never ends if you think about it, because if you're signing up to serve others and help them reach their potential, you're effectively signing up to be a coach and to nurture them along the way in their career journeys. Honestly, it's one of the most rewarding things that I do every day is to spend time with our people and help them be the best they can be.
Yeah, well, I get to see you really embrace sort of these ideas of model, coach, care every single day, and and alongside with our customers. So it's a learning moment for each of us every day. The other piece of all this is, of course, I know you're very passionate about diversity, equity, and inclusion. Again, it's sort of part of the reason that gets me excited to work at Microsoft. But from your own story, why is that commitment so important?
Yeah, look, first of all, I passionately believe that none of us is as smart as all of us. And if you can successfully aggregate all of the ideas of many and harness them into the power of one, you can be certain that you're going to be better off than if you exclude ideas and perspectives. So fundamentally, it just makes sense in terms of trying to strive to make an organization better. I also feel really passionately that we need to make Microsoft look on the inside the way the world looks on the outside. It's our job to make sure everyone has an opportunity, and it's our job to make sure that everyone is strongly represented here at the company. So I look at diversity and inclusion, frankly, as two parallel bodies of work, and I always slow down to say both words. I think it can be too easily glossed over when you use expressions or short form acronyms like D&I. But wallowing in diversity and inclusion and the power of all three words is important because, first of all, it's important for us to strive for the right kind of representation across every role and across every job discipline. But then on top of it, it's super important for us to create the environment where everyone can learn, grow, and thrive, and frankly, be happy in the work that they do. And I always say that I would never ask of anyone to do anything I wouldn't gladly do myself. And it's my job to make sure that the environment is healthy and conducive for everyone to be their best, right? So, once again, it's another one of those disciplines that if you sign up for it and you really believe in it in your heart, you're signing up for a long journey. Because, seeking out to make sure that everyone feels included is a daily job and a continuous job, and one that you have to work pretty hard at to get belief at scale. I found that there's a lot I can do to, drive numeric progress, for example, in terms of our representation. There's a lot that I can do even in terms of the direct hiring of our executives, and we've worked pretty hard in that regard. But to get really belief at scale across an organization of 60,000 people takes a lot of leadership through influence and making sure that you're explaining the how and the why and coaching people along the way.
Yeah, I love what you said too. It does sometimes force us to slow down, which I know is not your DNA, nor is it mine. But even just backing away from the acronym of D&I and saying diversity and inclusion, to your point, and being willing in the hiring process and the retention process to slow down and really look at that. Because you're right, when we make those decisions, and we see this firsthand in retail, the end product is just better.
That's right. That's right, for sure.
So one of the things that as we kicked off Microsoft's fiscal year, you really spoke about this idea of digital optimism, which really resonated with me personally, and I know is resonating with our customers. So because we've heard a lot about digital transformation, I don't think we've heard as much about digital optimism. So what is it exactly in your mind?
Well, look, I think, Shelley, it's first of all super important to just kind of acknowledge what everyone's been through over the last 18 months. And the industry you serve and where you have so much expertise in consumer goods and retail has really been turned upside down. Effectively, if you're not engaging with your customers digitally, you're probably not engaging with them at all these days. And so the pressure that has been put upon us as a society and as an industry to execute has just been enormous. And at the end of the day, this notion of digital optimism is believing that the technology that's helped us survive the pandemic will be the very same technology that helps us thrive coming out of it. Look, at the end of the day, humanity will prevail. Technology will have a role. And if technology has a role, Microsoft has a role to serve its customers and its partners, and frankly, to empower our people to deliver their best in so serving that same community. If you think about what the pandemic has taught us, it's that no business is 100% resilient, but that those that are fortified with some type of digital capability are more resilient than others. And that extends from how we engage with our customers, how we engage and come together with our people, frankly, how we operate the supply chain with resiliency globally, and frankly, how we build our products with less and less dependency upon standard processes. The more you can run a lights out process or semi-autonomous or autonomous manufacturing process, the more resilient that your business is going to be. And so this is an area where I feel really excited about what the Microsoft Cloud can provide for our customers, because frankly, at the end of the day, we're at our best when we can marry up our portfolio of intellectual property and our products and match them to the business challenges that our customers have. And so whether you create awesome consumer products or distribute them to customers around the world, we believe we have the technology that can bring that type of resiliency to your business moving forward. So I do genuinely believe in this notion of digital optimism. And look, I encourage others to find the positive and be the positive as well, because I think that's actually what will bring us forward as a society.
Yeah, it has really struck a chord with our brands as well, and I'm sure we'll hear a lot from this audience on the topic. But I think we saw in the early days of the pandemic, with retail getting resegmented for the first time in 100 years into essential and non-essential, customers were coming to Microsoft and saying, "Okay, what's the new playbook?" But I would say in the last 3 months, actually, they're saying, "How can we go faster with the new playbook?" And that's all really fortified by this optimism. Those who laid the digital tracks early are accelerating, and it is fun to see. This isn't an industry term, just the mojo back in
Right.
a lot of these businesses. Now talk about why retail and consumer goods and having, an industry vertical sort of that really sits on top of and nestles with the Microsoft Cloud is important to you.
Yeah, thanks. So honestly, for actually some of the very reasons I just shared at a personal level, look, products that touch you and inspire you to buy are part of the spice of life. And I feel like the technology that Microsoft provides can really empower people to create and empower people to really democratize the manufacturing process of consumer goods. And that means that there'll be greater diversity of products available in market, and and through that you have the potential to touch even more lives, right? And so if we can help creators bring great product to life, and then we can help retailers distribute it at scale so that there's not just one place on the planet where everybody buys things. It creates competition, it creates better product, it creates better service experiences as well. Because I'm sure that, if you're like me, you buy from companies that make you feel like you have a great experience. And so, look, at our core, we're a company that empowers. Microsoft doesn't exist for any other ulterior motive other than to provide a technology platform for creators to create and people to be empowered to touch their customers and deliver great experiences around the world. So it's an incredibly important space, and it's an incredibly important space to deliver diversity of experience, which is frankly what we're all about.
Absolutely. And I know one of the, and I will hear a lot from our listeners on this, but one of the lines that I learned from you that really drew me to Microsoft is that Amazon is the single greatest threat to retail, and Google is the single greatest tax on retail. And, who wants to be in business with somebody that's going to sell it to you on one side and compete with you on the other? And that's not what's going to help those brands that you just spoke about. Passion, I think a shared passion area.
Yeah, for sure.
So now as we sort of close down, you have a lot ahead, especially in this even bigger role. What does the future hold for you and for Microsoft, or really any closing thoughts?
Look, Shelley, I'm excited about where we're going as a company. Honestly, because I think we have such an opportunity to serve. If you think about our mission of empowering others to succeed and achieve their potential, right now there's such an opportunity for us to do so around the world. I'm excited about the notion of reinvigorating small businesses around the world. I'm excited about leveraging our capabilities for digital optimism and helping everyone come out of this pandemic stronger and more capable of reaching their own aspirations. So I think the time is just so brilliant for us right now, because if you're a company and an organization built around serving, there's never been a bigger time to help serve the world, frankly, as we come out of all of this. And it's so important to recognize just how everybody's handling these circumstances differently around the world and what everybody's living through. And if you can seek to make everybody's life just a little bit better than it was the day before, the rewards are so great. So I'm excited about it. I know you are too. There's so much for us to do in retail and consumer goods that has not only an impact on that industry, but those industries rather, but frankly, the knock-on effect of others around the world. And so, whether it be back to school or whether it be the holiday season, I think it gives us just something to look forward to that brings positive energy to everyone. So future's bright, and everybody should get excited about it.
Yeah, I love what you said about small businesses, about that we are in service to our customers. And I love that it's all really pulled together with this idea of digital optimism. So, Judson, just a huge thank you in your very, very busy day.
Thank you, Shelley. It's great to have the opportunity to connect with you and your audience, and keep doing the awesome work that you do every day.
Oh, we will. And for all of you out there, thank you for joining in to another episode of Taking Stock Live. We're thrilled to have you. We're thrilled to hear from you and keep the conversation going. We know that the big months are ahead for all of you, and we're here at Microsoft to serve you. So thank you.